Welcome back to the channel. This is the Action Figure Grader, and today we're going to look at some more eBay recent sales prices. Kind of a mixed bag today. A potpourri edition, if you will, to make things smell a little better in AFG's household. We've got one or two loose graded, one or two mint on cards, a lot of loose complete figures and vehicles, and then a seller who is a non-Star Wars seller, but a coin seller, had a number of really interesting Power of the Force coins that I had never seen before that must be very rare based on these sales prices. So we're going to go ahead and dig right in. Let's go ahead and take a look. All right, first of all, the Muffin Man here is an interesting item that I forgot to include in my last loose graded video. This is a hard torso R2-D2 sensor scope. And here it is. It's mentioned in the UKG label, hard torso. And what that really means is, to my knowledge again, I'm not an expert, the type of plastic used for the cylindrical body of R2-D2 is a different type of plastic versus the standard R2-D2 sensor scope. And we see that with Stormtroopers. There's hard torso Stormtroopers. There's hard torso Hoth Stormtroopers. Those come to mind. But there's also an R2-D2 sensor scope hard torso. So just kind of an interesting item. UKG 80%. That one sold for 125 pounds, which is 163 US dollars. Very tough to find this one, surprisingly. I've only seen maybe one or two others on eBay that I remember off the top of my head. So not an easy one to track down. A couple of 12-inch figures sold. This was an AFA 80+ mint and sealed box, Luke Skywalker 12-inch. That one sold for $13.50. There is the label on it. Box 80 W. I've had people ask me, what does the W stand for? That, I believe, stands for wrapper or window. Wrapper for mail-away baggies. Window for these types of box items that have a plastic window on them. That's to my knowledge. Don't quote me on that. Anyway, 80 plus grade, $13.50. And then the same seller also had the Princess Leia AFA 80 mint and sealed box as well. That one had a box of 80, window 80, figure 85 for that one. That one sold for $11.95. So two big prices, but I would argue that those are probably fair market value for the condition that they're in, just given how difficult it is to find those loose or ungraded mint and sealed box where the flap has not been folded over about 15,000 times. So two very nice items. Here was the Rebel Armored Snowspeeder. This one was not mint by any means, but I just wanted to show you what an example would go for, where the inner cardboard tray was included, all the stickers were applied, plus the box. I think that's expensive at $395. Now, it could be because it has the dollar rebate offer. We just saw one, I believe, that was a qualified 80 that sold on LCG auctions. I can't remember the price off the top of my head. You can go back and watch that video if you want to. I think it was around $1,300. It was a qualified 85, the highest on the census. So maybe that's what drove this price up, is because this is the harder to find $1 rebate offer on this box. But the box was obviously not in clean condition. If it was just the regular blue sky version of the Rebel Armored Snowspeeder in this condition, I would think you could probably pick this up on Rogue 5 Toys for half that price, maybe $250, somewhere in that ballpark. There is obviously also the pink box, pink sky version of the ESB packaging for the Rebel Snowspeeder. Here was an interesting item that a friend of mine picked up. This is the ESB Cloud City playset, complete with the baggied figures, along with the inner tray, the box for the baggies that you can see there, Cloud City playset figures, the pegs, and then all four baggies. So that was a beauty. It was listed for $1,400. The best offer accepted on that was $1,200. Really nice item there. And I think that's kind of below fair market value, just given the condition of the contents for this. That's just my personal opinion, though. Next up was an AFA 90 Power Droid on the 31 back A. Empire Strikes Back, unpunched, no price sticker. This one fell under the radar because it was located in Switzerland. So I didn't see it, but I found it after the fact. 90, 85, 90 were the sub-scores. It sold for 1,000 Swiss francs, I believe. And That equates to $1,155. I think that's a pretty good deal, to be honest with you. For an AFA 90, again, I didn't look up the population report on this, but I bet it's one of only a handful at most, if not one of one, at an AFA 90. Really cool item. Gold Star Tech had a few mint and seal box mini rigs I wanted to show. Desert Sail Skiff mini rig, mint and seal box, $285 on that one. And then the AST5 Armored Sentinel Transport, $145. Both of those were factory sealed in really good shape. Not bad prices there. B-Wing Fighter, this one was just a loose beater. I was just confused as to why it sold for so much, just given the condition of the box. I could see that maybe, I mean, you can see that there's a lot of yellowing on the B-Wing, and then the box itself was Teddy for $240. Be a little more patient on that. I think that you can find one for a much better deal than that price, in my opinion, versus, you know, it's okay to pay $240 for a really clean box and a, you know, a fairly clean actual Starfighter, but $240 on that one just seems really high to me. A couple of last 17 figures, again, that confused me on the final sales price. They were mint, okay? In all fairness, they look super mint. This one was a Ramba, and it sold for 180 pounds, which is $234. That just seems like a big, big number to me. And then Warwick was also super clean. No discoloration to the torso. 295 pounds, which is $384. That's a loose, complete figure. And again, it does look really nice, okay? But that seems like a lot of money. Here was a Lumat that sold for $539, AFA 80. Again, that number seems very high to me. So it was a clear blister, in all fairness, for this one, so I could see that one maybe. The other two that were loose complete, those seem like drastically high prices. If you're looking for loose complete figures, last 17 figures, join Rogue 5 Toys on Facebook. I mean, they get these in every month, and they're going to be like half this price, if at most. And I'm not saying that they're as clean as this, and maybe they are, maybe they aren't, but before you spend buy it now prices on eBay, be a little more patient, because they're not that hard to find. All right, so I've got a few other interesting items. We got this Droid's Thal Jobin loose complete. We just saw one of these that was AFA 85 old case style that sold for like 170 bucks, somewhere in there. This one sold loose complete with the coin, though, for 100 pounds, 130 bucks. That seems pretty fair, just given the condition of that one. It looked really clean. You got to be careful on the boots. The boots scuff very easily, and these were no exception. You can see on the heels there, some light scuffs in the back of the calves. For whatever reason, Thal Jobin's orange boots, that's the first thing to look for, and these one did have some light nicks on it, so it wasn't perfect. Probably an AFA 80 for 130 bucks. Now, here are the coins. All right, so I don't even pretend to know anything about the Power of the Force coins, but these sold for some big money. I'm assuming that this is a prototype Lando coin, just given this final sales price of $440. And this seller is a coin expert. He didn't mention anything in the comments about him, so he was basically just throwing them out there for people to bid on. And somebody or multiple people must have clearly known that this was a prototype coin. $440 on this one. Now, here was the sail skiff. This one must have been a mail-away item. That one sold for $1,441, Desert Sail Skiff. It's the first time I've ever seen this. You can see the Sarlacc pit on there. Jabba the Hutt's desert sailcraft used to transport rebels to the Sarlacc pit. Very cool. But again, these must be ultra, ultra rare, just given the sales price. The Millennium Falcon, I have seen this one before. I think this one was a mail away for sure. $310 on that one. The Tusken Raider is another one that I have never seen before. That one sold for $1,000 in an auction. And then the 21B coin, I've personally never seen this before. That one sold for $1,425 on 18 bids. So again, this seller did not know anything about them or did not disclose anything about them in the eBay auction descriptions. So clearly somebody was looking for these, and they must be some sort of pre-production prototypes. Very cool to see those sell, though. $1,425. Absolutely massive number on that. Here was a sail skiff. This was loose complete and in pretty mint condition. Very high grade. So in all fairness to this seller, I mean, this one looks really nice. Very, very clean. but a big number. $1,000 on that one. So here's some nice close-up. That is absolutely stunning condition, though. But I wanted to show you a big number on that. You can probably, if you're not super concerned about the condition of it, we have seen some in recent videos that have sold in the $660 to $780, $800 range, okay? This one was really clean looking, though, and it did sell for $1,000. And then the Ewok Battle Wagon is another one that we've seen sell in the ballpark of about $400 to $450. This one sold in an auction for $373.85. It was advertised as original and complete. In all fairness, the skull on this one did look like it has some yellowing to it. We've seen some others that have had bleached white. I mean, super, super white skulls that have sold above $400, $450, $500 even, with the box in good condition and complete with the inserts and the planetary map and all that kind of stuff. It can get really expensive really quick. But for a bottom of the barrel version, you know, this is a loose complete one that's in probably C7.5 condition for $373.85. Anyway, just a quick video with some kind of a different look at a potpourri of different vintage Star Wars items. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave me a like, and I'll be back soon.